This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917. Welcome to this week's episode of Nikon's Birding Adventures TV. On this week's episode, we're in my home county of Palm Beach, Florida, best renowned for its gorgeous sunny weather and stunning beaches. On this week's episode, we're going to journey out to the undiscovered gem of Western Palm Beach County, famous for the river of grass called the Everglades and the wet prairies, looking for our golden bird, the Crested Caracara. Let's go birding. Palm Beach County is one of the largest and most eco-diverse counties in all of Florida, and the Palm Beaches are a paradise of never-ending outdoor activities and things to do and see. An unmatched landscape of first-rate birding, incredible wildlife management areas, year-round fishing, a multitude of water sports, and exceptional beaches make this the best place to experience Florida. From the Everglades to the Atlantic Ocean, you are sure to find things to do that will stoke your passions and make lasting memories. Here in the Palm Beaches, birding and wildlife viewing is a big deal, even bigger than you might imagine. In fact, birding is second only to beach-related activities as a form of outdoor recreation for both visitors and residents. If you're already into birding, you probably know that Florida and Palm Beach County is considered one of the best places in the world for this activity. South Florida is a birding mecca, from the colorful and distinctive natural populations of wading birds to the specialties like Florida scrub jays and red-cockaded woodpeckers, combined with the winter migration of flocks from up north. Palm Beach County is truly a birdwatcher's paradise. I'm with Rindy Anderson from Florida Atlantic University, and we're in Jonathan Dickinson State Park. And what she's doing this morning is she's using a parabolic microphone to record Bachman sparrow, which is a very unique bird limited to the pine flatwoods of Florida. Rindy, tell us what you're doing this morning.
Well, I'm trying to locate territorial males that at this time of year are starting to sing. And then once we've located them, we want to record their repertoires and put color bands on them so that we can identify them as unique individuals. And then once we've done that with a number of birds, we can start to do playback experiments using some songs that we've recorded to try to get at how they're using songs for territorial defense and female mate attraction.
So at most times of the year, this bird is very, very difficult to see. Best time to get it is right now, right?
That's right, that's right. They're just starting to really start to advertise their presence to females and set up their territory boundaries. So, for example, the male I was just recording over there sang at the top of a pine tree for 45 minutes non-stop. So he's really trying to let everyone know that this is his territory and he's ready to attract a female.
And so what advice would you give to a birder coming out here looking for Bachman sparrow? Time of year, obviously important,
Right.
March, April, that time of the year?
Yeah, so there's a really nice dawn chorus of them. So if you want to get sort of a lay of the land of where you can find little pockets of them, if you're here just as the sun is coming up, you'll find them that way. And then, just now, mid-morning, some of the males will start to do their long bouts of territorial advertisement song, and you can really get pretty close to them.
Well, that's great. Rindy, thank you so much for chatting to us this morning, and enjoy your birding.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917. And by Palm Beach County, Florida. Discover the Palm Beaches. And sponsored in part by Manfrotto, complete solutions for photographers and videographers. Visit manfrotto.us.
Florida is known for its plastic flamingos. Somebody obviously found out that I was a birder because this is some kind of weird practical joke. I've been flocked. Right on the edge of western Palm Beach County is arguably the very best waterfowl and shorebird site in Palm Beach County. These are the STAs, or stormwater treatment areas, and there are a number of them spread out across western Palm Beach County. Right now we're in STA 2, and these STAs are managed by the South Florida Water Management District. And they're basically treatment ponds that treat the water that flows off the agricultural fields before it gets circled back into the Everglades. So they're very, very important from an ecological standpoint, and also very important as a migrant stopover for migratory waterfowl and also a whole bunch of shorebirds. But most importantly, this particular STA, STA 2, is renowned for its American flamingos that come here every year in late March to early April. For many years, it was believed that the only American flamingos found in Florida were escapees from a zoo in South Florida. But recently, flocks of American flamingos have begun to show up in STA 2 in Palm Beach County. They've done some research on these birds and have found that they are coming from the Yucatan in Mexico. And they arrive here in late March to early April, and then they spend several weeks here and then fly back again, possibly to the Yucatan, possibly to somewhere else in the Caribbean. But it's very, very interesting that they only stay here for a few weeks, and nobody knows exactly why. Could be something to do with food, they're finding a food source here, or they could be gathering here in numbers, but then they disappear again and they come back only for those few weeks every single year in Palm Beach County. The flamingos here are incredible draw cards for resident and visiting birders alike. And the Audubon Society of the Everglades runs about a half-dozen trips every single year in March and April to bring people to see birds in this restricted area. It's quite incredible that now, besides the plastic flamingos that adorn the yards of many snowbirds in Florida, now we have the real deal right here in Palm Beach County.
This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917. And by Palm Beach County, Florida. Discover the Palm Beaches.
This afternoon we're in the western part of Palm Beach County, Florida, and we're looking for one of Florida's most iconic birds, the Crested Caracara. I've got a report from a local fishing guide called Bob Branham, who also happens to take some incredible nature photographs, that he has found a Caracara nest. And this is very exciting for me personally, because I've been looking for Caracara nests here in Florida for about 8 or 9 years and have yet to find one. They're very secretive when they breed, and they hide their nests generally very deep within a cabbage palm, totally concealed. You can't even see the nest, and you definitely cannot see the chicks. So I'm interested to see what he's got here in western Palm Beach County. There's a Caracara there on the right hand side. Look at him. Well, we've literally been driving down this road in western Palm Beach County for only about 10 minutes, and we've already come across a crested caracara, also known as the Mexican eagle. You know, these birds are very, very interesting because they date back to 12,500 years ago at the end of the last glacial period. And it was during this time that the oak savanna used to extend all the way from Florida all the way to Texas along the Gulf Coast. And as the area heated up and got warmer, that oak savanna disappeared, leaving this relict population of crested caracaras here in south central Florida. This is a juvenile bird on the right hand side here, probably has fledged this year. Typically they breed in Florida anytime from about December through to April, with a peak in February and March. And this young one has probably come from this year's brood. Not so long ago, when I came out here early morning in the same area looking for caracara nests, I saw something incredibly unusual. It was very early morning, and these caracaras started lining up on the fence posts in this sort of cattle grazing area. And they did the strangest thing. I probably had 12 or 15 caracaras all together in the early morning, and they flew in one at a time and eventually started breeding and mating with each other on the posts. And this lasted about 10 or 15 minutes, and then all the birds took off in their separate pairs and headed off to forage for the rest of the day. Very interesting behavior, and it just shows you that, you know, we can be out in the field so much, but we know very, very little about some species of birds even today. And the crested caracara is a great example because very little is known about its breeding habits, its nesting habits, and its mating habits. There's a caracara and another one. There's two caracaras here. These are the type of palms that they'll nest in, these cabbage palms. So let's check this out. Well, this is perfect because we've got two adult caracaras and no trees in pretty much this whole area. It's sort of open pasture, but yet there's this nice row of cabbage palms here. And I'm pretty sure that these adult birds are either scoping out these trees to make a nest, or they've got an existing nest right here. I think the nest is in that very tall cabbage palm. I can hear the babies calling from time to time, and in fact, we sat and we waited for about half an hour, and we saw the parent birds come in to that palm tree and then go out again later, probably bringing food in, but just have no visual on the nest whatsoever. So this is quite interesting because the nest that Bob reported was apparently very open and you could actually see inside the nest. So I think there's probably two nests here, and we've just happened to come across a second nest in Palm Beach County. Here at Rockjumper, we deal in the spectacular, from the iconic animals of Africa to the bizarre birds of paradise in New Guinea, to the beaches of Brazil, to the grand state of Alaska. We help you reach your dream destinations. With over 300 tours to over 100 countries, Rockjumper leads the pack in adventure travel, and we want to travel with you. We also specialize in private tours. If you have a group of friends you're traveling with, or want to see the 7 natural wonders of the world with your family, contact us today. Our friendly, fun, professional guides excel in producing riveting wildlife experiences. That's why Rockjumper's birding tours and wildlife safaris are so popular. And we offer dazzling photographic tours and unique cultural trips too. Roll with Rockjumper and see the world. This Birding Adventures episode is powered by Nikon, the world leader in optics since 1917. And by Pelagic Polarized Sunglasses. And by Palm Beach County, Florida. Discover the Palm Beaches.
And by Hobie Mirage Drive Kayaks. Enjoy nature effortlessly.
Wow, well that was pretty exhilarating to find a crested caracara nest, but this is definitely not the nest we're looking for, and the directions that Bob gave me show that the nest that he's got, or that he's found, is actually very, very close to this nest. So we're going to head down this road, keep looking, and hopefully we'll find the nest that he's talking about. If you want to find crested caracaras in Florida, the best thing to do is to find a rural road around Lake Okeechobee or in south central Florida, and drive the road and look especially along low fence posts. And caracaras like to use those fence posts as vantage points, and they'll sit there and they'll often watch for vultures circling and see when vultures go down on a carcass. That will be a good indicator for them. But they'll also use fence posts and lamp posts to scan for dead animals, especially along the roadsides. And so the best tactic is just drive along these rural roads and then look very carefully on any kind of prominent fence post or vantage point that they can hunt from. And you won't miss a crested caracara when you see one. They're very distinctive looking, that beautiful crest. It's the largest of all the caracara species in the world. And I've been very privileged to see many of the smaller species in Central and Southern America, but there's nothing like coming home and finding your own special caracara in your backyard. You know, if you do research on crested caracaras in Florida, you know, the figures will vary from anything from 300 to about 500 birds in the entire state. But on the western edge of Palm Beach County and Hendry County, you can drive along these roads here and see 20, 30 caracaras in a single day. So they really are doing quite well here. And this is probably the most southern edge of their range. There are now only 2 populations of crested caracara in North America, and that's the population that extends from Mexico up into Arizona and South Texas, and then of course this relict population that's confined to South Central Florida. After watching these caracaras for several years now in South Central Florida, I've come to notice something really interesting about their habits, and that is that if you find a carcass on the side of the road and you watch it for a period of time in an area where caracaras are present, what you'll notice is that more often than not, caracaras will find that carcass quicker than vultures. And I've noticed that this is very interesting because they fly so low to the ground, they've got very, very keen eyesight, and they use the roads as a marker to find prey. So they'll fly along the roads very, very low, they'll find that carrion and they'll go straight down. And the vultures are often the ones that'll come after the caracaras. So this is the side road that Bob told us to go down. And apparently the nest is on a working farm on the left-hand side of the road in a pretty isolated cabbage palm, so it shouldn't be too difficult to find. See the 2 adult caracaras sitting on top of the post, and there's the cabbage palm tree just to the left of them, and that's where the nest is. Wow, this is awesome. So we've got the 2 adult birds and what we think is the nest here, but we don't want to disturb them because there are young babies in the nest. So we're going to head out a little bit further around, set up our equipment and try and get some awesome video of crested caracaras on the nest. As we get too close to these caracaras, they make this noise, this like, and that's what actually gives them their name, Caracara. It's because of the noise. So we're going to move off because they're getting a little bit perturbed with our presence here, and we're going to set up further away. Yes, this is amazing. We've got 2 baby crested caracaras in the nest, and they're probably about 4 to 5 weeks old, I would imagine. Normally, crested caracara nests are incredibly well hidden, but Bob has managed to find this nest, which is way in the open. And in fact, he mentioned that there was a very strong windstorm that came through and actually blew down some of the palm fronds, giving us an incredible, uninterrupted view of the lifestyle and breeding habits of this iconic Florida bird.
You know, they have to feed those little guys all the time, and while you're sitting there, they won't come back. And you can even get in a car and sit off a ways, and they'll fly to a post, but they're really sly about hiding their babies and hiding the nest. I mean, you could go by 1,000 times and never know that there's a nest there. So we set the camera up and backed off, and it was perfect timing because the adults that had been sitting on a post nearby immediately brought in I don't even know what it was, something dead. And the babies, you know, they attacked it. Shortly after, the other one brought a snake in for them.
One of the parent birds is coming in. It's got something in its bill. It looks like a snake. There's something dangling. It's a snake. It's coming straight towards us now. These adult crested caracaras are feeding the voracious appetites of these young babies several times a day. And quite incredible how short the fledging period is of these birds. Only about 8 weeks until the chicks will actually leave the nest. This is very interesting behavior because even a Cooper's hawk and some of the other small to medium-sized hawks will spend about 3 months getting their babies to actually leave the nests. In the case of the larger raptors, like harpy eagles, this period can extend to 18 months, almost 2 years. So just 2 months for a baby crested caracara, once it hatches, to leave the nest.
Western Palm Beach County is the best place that I've ever driven around looking for my subjects. It's amazing how close you can get to the birds, how many birds there are. There's eagles, several kinds of hawks, snail kites. It's just ideal habitat.
What a wonderful opportunity to spend some time with one of Florida's rare and iconic birds, the crested caracara. These babies are growing quickly, and I'm excited to come back to witness the progress of these youngsters as they get ready to fledge from the nest. That's our golden bird for this episode, the crested caracara.